Yo, the guy sitting next to me on the plane was looking at OK Cupid, and it was just making me think, damn, this dude is mad devious.
Why?
I don't know. Even though it's like the most normal thing in the world, like, oh, he's going to New York. He might try to get some in New York and try to get some girls in New York. But still in my head, I'm just like, damn, this guy's on a sex vacation. I've been there a million times in my life.
What do you? How do you like? You got to
swipe. Yeah. You swipe right if you like them. You swipe left if you don't like them.
Yeah. No.
Are we recording? Yep. All right. No job for coolest podcast in the world. Latest intro in the world. Maybe we could just use all that.
Right.
Math Hoffa in the building.
I'm in the building. Y'all gonna add the clapping and all that shit?
Oh yeah.
I like that shit. When you like that.
You think people are gonna believe this in front of a live audience and not at WTF Studios in the heart of New York City, right here on Canal Street?
No, I think that when you say my name, there should just be an audience.
Oh
automatically
just. We could pay some chicks to throw their bras at us and shit.
You know, I'm surprised at you because I expected that.
Right. People always think I'm gonna be moving around like Hugh Hefner.
Yeah, exactly. Like you expect, okay, I ain't doing this no jumper thing. Let me make sure I got my cologne on because it's gonna be like mad porn stars just walking around and shit.
You know, money is one thing. I look at Dan Bilzerian's Instagram story and I'm like, that's money. Because think about how many motherfucking bills you're paying for when you have 20 hot chicks following you around all over fucking Europe. You got 20 girls that I guess they fit on the private plane, right? So maybe that works out. But like, you're paying for the food, the fucking hotel rooms, whatever. You got to pay them some kind of rate to just be there. I mean, that shit must be so expensive.
Right? You think about it? But how many of them are they just there for free?
Maybe someone, but either way, even just to house and feed them. I mean, and they're hot as shit. Like, really hot.
Right.
Like, but I mean, it's great for his image.
Yeah, but there's got to be like some sort of stipulation where like he can silence them.
Oh yeah,
feels like it.
If I was paying that much money for him, for sure, I want to be able to control your every move.
Silence, silence.
Yeah, that's.
I bend over.
Maybe that's how you end up on some R. Kelly shit, and you're like, hey, you don't pee until I tell you to pee. Oh, you're gonna poop in a little bowl in the corner.
Is that what happens?
Some shit like that,
I
right?
don't know.
I don't know how he got it.
I don't believe that shit.
Oh, you're not buying it?
I don't.
The R. Kelly truth are great. This should be a great interview.
I don't buy it. I don't. I feel like R. Kelly is like, you know, he made so many hits. It's like the Bill Cosby thing.
Right.
I mean, not to say like that there was definitely evidence.
Right.
He was, you know.
Yeah.
But all that other stuff, I feel like he was convicted by TV.
You think it's fucked up that I'd be banging my girl listening to R. Kelly?
Not at all, because I do too.
You do?
Well, not your girl.
Right, no.
But, you know.
But I don't even think about it. Doesn't even cross my mind.
Yeah, you only think about it when there's someone else present.
But I can never listen to a rap song or some pussy-ass rapper saying some gangster-ass shit. I couldn't. Well, I mean, I guess there's probably tons of examples of shit from the 90s or whatever that I now know that they're not who they were saying they were, and I don't think about it when the song plays. But it's much harder for me to separate the artist from the art with rap, whereas with R&B, it's like I really don't care. Like R. Kelly, like his music is not. I'm just not invested in it like that.
Well, do you think about it? No, okay, R. Kelly had so many hits, so many love songs, right?
Right.
Pause it, this whole thing. But what kind of mentality would you have to just make songs about sex all day?
Well, he's clearly consumed with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are we, the fans, responsible for his obsession?
Well, what does it say about us that out of all the R&B artists, and when I say us, I mean like all of America and the world, clearly decided that this guy, who was an actual sex criminal, was the best at making music about many things, but really sex being the biggest one.
But is that the catch-22 to being, you know? Like, what is it? Like, if you just said you can't listen to a pussy-ass rapper talk about shit that he never lived, but then you think about the realest rapper,
right? He's
probably going to be convicted for the worst shit in the world one day.
We see it all the time.
Right. So
King Von, best drill rapper in recent memory, right? Everybody says that he would be locked up right now if he was still on the street.
Murdered mad people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so how do you know?
Because the best music comes from people who are basically like a little bit unhinged.
Right. You have to.
As soon as you get comfortable and you're in the mansion and all your needs are taken care of, it's basically like a recipe for you falling off artistically, right?
Right.
That's why nobody wants to hear 40-year-old rappers, right?
No, I think people want to hear them.
But it's hard for them to figure out what people want to hear from them.
It's sad if you're an artist and you're trying to figure out what people want to hear from you instead of just, I mean, at 40, you just do what you want, right? That's when you start not caring about how to dress. Pause. Is it, we good now? We good now with this thing? I'm telling you, you would be the first with the pussy-shaped mics.
Right. No, we're working on it.
You got to do that.
I mean, we got a prototype, honestly. Josh is 3D modeling it right now on his phone.
Did this start as soon as I sat down? Yeah. So you got to hear about my bad week?
The breakup.
The breakup and all that? There you go.
As a podcaster.
Exploiting black people's pain.
You're
once
right.
Again.
It's like Love and Hip Hop.
Here you are again.
Right. You should exploit your own breakup. Make some content out of it. I mean, that's what a lot of people would do.
I don't even want to admit it. Like this, I'm hoping that it won't even exist by the time this comes out.
Oh, so you think you're going to get back together, or you think that...
I have no idea.
Oh, really? It's one of them. It's up in the air.
Yeah.
Is it because you're lit now? You getting cocky?
No, sometimes. No, it's not me. It's not me. I try to take care of everybody, man.
Right.
I try to take care of everybody, but I don't know. Sometimes, it gets to people's head. Like when you started getting really, really popular, were you dating the same girl?
Yeah.
So
pretty much since the beginning, which is crazy.
Did it kind of like affect her as you became more popular?
I mean, there's been ups and downs, There's been times where her career was going insanely well and my career was not doing that well. And how
did you feel? Was you hating on the side? Like,
I was probably in denial about what was happening. I was probably convincing myself that everything was fine.
Right.
But there's times where she feels like her career is in the shitter. Yeah. And meanwhile, I start, 2-3 different revenue streams pop up. All of a sudden shit starts going way better. I get 10 great interviews back to back.
Right.
And it can be kind of weird. If you're really in a good relationship, you can weather that. That's like a lot of, when I'm trying to comfort her, it's basically me telling her, I don't care if you are having a bad year. Right. I don't care if you're having a bad week, whatever. I'm here.
But you're
good.
Married, right?
Essentially.
Essentially.
Fiance. She's working. We're working on the wedding now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you proposed?
Yeah.
When did you propose?
Beginning of the pandemic, I think. So maybe 2.5 years ago.
Oh, so you've been good for a long time.
Yeah. I'm ready.
I don't know. My home. It's my brother over there. He's been trying to get me to. He's like, yo, man, all that shit is gonna end when you propose, and I'm like, how? To me, that's like rewarding bad behavior. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, okay, I know, we haven't been seeing eye to eye. You've been cursing me out and shit like that. But here, let's get married.
Right.
Like, what?
Because my thing with women is that they keep wanting more and more and more of you. And once you tie the knot, that's when it's clear there's no more to get. You might want more of my time, but you have me if we're married.
Right.
So it's like, if you're already kind of worried that she's maybe taking a little bit too much of you for granted or expecting a little bit too much from you, I feel like that's only going to get worse after you basically legally stipulate that you are now in this arrangement.
See, he thinks like me. He thinks like me because I'm thinking like, yo, how's this going to get better this way? You know what I mean? But, I love her.
Right.
I love her a lot, but it's just certain shit, man.
Yeah. And we
clash with these things.
The older you get, the more depressing the idea of giving up on those years of hard work, building something kind of gets, right? The more and more you're like, fuck, I put all this time and effort into it. I'm going to be an old man sooner or later. I ain't no spring chicken.
It depends. You go out and you see I'm still capable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, how old are you? 22? You pressing on me.
You want to bug me?
Like, okay, all right, cool. Not mad at this.
That's real. Nah, but that first time that you hit the fucking club when you're single, and you still you got the sad feelings inside, and you go to the club and you realize oh, these girls are sluts. And they like me, at least enough to like talk to me. You know, I might not be fucking one tonight, but I might be fucking one tonight.
Oh, before I met my girl, I was a savage, bro.
Yeah. Oh, you were getting in
Savage.
bad?
I was one of those guys who used to fuck in the bathroom.
Oh my God.
You know what I'm saying? And I would tell myself, it got so bad that I would meet a chick and tell myself, I'm not gonna fuck her. I'm not gonna fuck her. I'm not gonna fuck her. Half an hour later, in the bathroom. Security's like, hey man, you can't be in there. Like,
where are we talking? Like,
no, I'm talking like lounges, clubs,
right?
Shit like that.
But like, how long are you
like
fucking
Donna
like,
from Black Ink, like that type of shit.
You getting head for a little while and then you fucking, or you like just fucking for like 30 seconds?
All that, you know, throw up, bend over, bow, 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 bow.
I would be in such. You said throw up?
No.
Oh. You're painting a picture.
Not throw up. Throw up on the wall, Adam. Throw up on the wall.
You partway through.
You know what I'm saying? I'm a big guy. I can pick him up. I can
damn.
bathroom stall.
You were grimy like that, huh?
Yeah,
no
I was
rubber
savage.
in the urinal. No, in the restroom. Yeah. You hitting the handicap stall if possible?
Yeah.
You think that's kind of fucked up?
It's always better because there's more space.
You feel bad when you like walk out of there and there's a guy in a wheelchair sitting there holding his piss in?
Not at all. It's not fair you get that much space. It's not fair.
So you got sick of this lifestyle at a certain point and you were like, nah.
Yeah, because it was dangerous, man. You know?
Yeah, I feel.
I'd use a rubber, but every now and then, you know, you'd be like, oh, this feels too good. You know what that means.
Let it go.
Nah.
Shoot the club up.
You pull it out and you got a headband. You know what I'm saying?
Been there.
Yeah.
You're like, this feels a little too good.
Yeah. And then you're like, oh.
And then you realize it's all just wrapped around the base.
hula hoop.
You got a cock ring, it turns out. You ever rock a cock ring?
Yeah.
I heard dudes talk about it a few times.
Yeah, I've done the toy thing.
Damn.
With
I'm not gonna dig any deeper before we find out some weird shit.
Yeah, nah. No weird shit.
No?
There's
You never been hung from the roof by your legs or anything?
Nah, no shit like that. I
No
think
chains.
what would be the craziest shit? Chains, nah. Tie them, bondage maybe.
Ooh.
I know somebody in Cali who does that, who ties like people up for a living.
Is his name Army Hammer?
No, it's a female.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know what Army Hammer is?
No.
He got this new documentary. He was like a big actor, and he was tying girls up. He was like convincing them that he was into BDSM, and he was like torturing them and all this crazy shit. It's a good documentary.
Right.
It's on Discovery Plus.
You're not gonna get the weird shit.
I don't believe you're gonna get Discovery
Plus.
Plus.
Weird shit.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of weird females out there, man. I meet a chick that'll tell me punch me. What? No, we're not doing that.
But let me ask you this. Your stock throughout your career, it goes up, it goes down. You feel like you're kind of at the height right now? Like the pod is popping, the show's popping. Like you got to feel a little bit like, oh, if I cut ties and all of a sudden I'm single right now, the employee is available to me.
It probably would be a lot of celebrity pussy. Probably a lot of celebrity pussy. But is that really you kind of want to stay comfortable.
Celebrity relationships too.
Yeah, and that could be. You see how those work.
Does the world know who you're in a relationship with? Because I have no idea.
Well, my fans do.
You think you're ready for like a love and hip hop type career arc?
Hell no.
No, you're not doing that. Okay.
Hell no.
Okay.
Hell no. I just told you, I used to get crazy. They followed me.
Right.
They followed me on a bad week. You know what that would be like? Nah, man, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
That would be crazy.
I don't think they would let you keep doing your podcast either. They'd try to steal it from you. Actually, I guess they didn't do that to Joe. So
what?
I heard they want to like own part of like everything that you do.
Oh hell no, that's not happening.
It's not happening.
It's not happening.
You know, I always say, like throughout the years, whenever I've like had conversations about like a podcast, rap podcasts, I've always kind of mentioned like, think about the barbershop. Like think about all those dudes in there just having a great conversation. Like if you could just bottle that, like, you know, like a lot of those guys are just talking in the barbershop. They're great at conversation, but if you put them in front of a microphone, maybe they wouldn't be, but maybe someone would be. And you're actually the dude who finally said, all right, let's get as close as we can to an actual barbershop. Was that was the thought process?
In a way, I actually was just looking for a location.
Oh, really? But the barbershop, that's
and
where
the
guys hang out
barbershop,
and talk.
I was like, hey, this works out. And
Right.
it worked out. And then I saw LeBron's show, and I was like, oh, wait a minute. Is he stealing my idea? And and checking timelines and all that.
But there's a white YouTuber dude who got a interview series where it's in the little haircut thing. He has like a set, it's like a barbershop set as well. This dude Jeff Wittick.
Jeff Wittick.
Yeah. So it is many people have kind of had this idea, but
Right.
You've definitely been the one to
I've
max it out.
Mastered.
You got VR episodes.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that about? Why would I want to watch it through a fucking circular camera in the middle of the room?
Because you've done live shows before.
Yeah.
I don't do live shows.
Right.
So if you want to feel like you're at the show, you put on the VR headset and you're sitting in the middle of the show.
People fuck with it?
Yeah.
So I'm not getting the full effect when I just look at it on my phone.
No,
I can
no.
go
You got to put on
okay.
the headset and then you're like in the shop. You can, the Fat Joe's talking over here. I'm responding. You can look at people's sneakers. You can see what my cameraman usually does. While
that is kind of crazy. Yeah.
Like you can see people walking by outside and shit. Who's sitting down? If there's a girl in a mini skirt trying to peep or whatever, it's a lot.
But you're not worried about the security there? You
You
told me you had something kind of spicy happen, right?
Yeah, and now there's 2 to 3 guns outside the shop every time we film. So I'm not worried.
You gotta be on your P's and Q's.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got like glass out there and shit. Like, it's like, who knows what could happen. That wasn't a concern in the beginning. Like, damn, people gonna be walking by. Did you not think you were gonna have like big artists in the beginning?
No, I actually like it because I walk around that neighborhood and people dap me up like, yo, I was walking by, I saw such and such at the shop. Yo, you bringing mad stars to the hood.
Right.
And I'm like, that's what's up.
Right.
And I think from my past, certain people, I just got a certain level of respect.
Mm-hmm.
That people ain't gonna do like stupid shit, but there's always one or two people that's gonna push it, and then they're gonna find out, oh shit, this is dangerous. I shouldn't do this.
Right.
And they go tell the story, and all the other people thinking like that.
But nobody's getting their haircut there.
People get their.
I thought you said it was a fake set.
No, never
You
said.
lying because we're on camera right now?
Get the fuck out of here. Nah, this is a barbershop for real.
Oh, okay.
You can go up there tomorrow, get your haircut.
How many times a week you get your haircut?
I got a beard. I don't got hair.
Oh, so you shave it?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I don't know.
I'm thinking about getting it back though.
Let's see what they.
I was looking up videos.
Go to Turkey.
Yeah, exactly. I was looking at it
done.
today. I was looking it up.
I didn't go to Turkey, but I got it done 2
got it
times.
done? Word?
It's all fake, baby.
Say word.
Yeah.
That shit looks good, but it's different for white people.
Yeah, you go to a different dog.
It would be
Different type of upholstery.
yeah, it's a different texture.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I don't
Sure, there's doctors who can do both, but you want to go to a specialist probably.
Yeah.
You hit up Tory
Make
Lanez.
it look right. Tory Lanez.
I mean,
Did he get his done?
Yeah.
He
No,
did?
hit up LeBron.
I heard Jadakiss got his done.
Probably. Every fly dude. It's like our BBL.
Yeah.
Me and you. BBL. Right on the head. Right on the forehead.
Right on the head. How long did it take for you to recover?
It takes a while. Well, it's like you're in pain for like a week. And then it looks
in the head,
good.
pain in the head.
It kind of hurts, yeah.
Does it feel like a headache or is it like my skin
it's
is
like
detached?
it's like numb and like kind of stiff. Like you'll touch it and it doesn't feel right.
So like
I've caused a lot of people to get it. Since I came clean, I made a YouTube video about it.
Yeah.
Everybody doing it.
Wow.
Jadakiss, you got that from me.
Yeah, Kiss got it.
I don't know, maybe.
I don't know. LeBron's bald now, so we can't use him as an example.
Maybe something went wrong.
Yeah, right?
Some kind of miscalculation.
I don't think he has the gap of time to heal.
Wait, but what's the off season like?
I heard it was like 4
couple months, right? No, because it only looks fucked up. Honestly, him shaving his head might mean that he's getting another one. Because that's basically what you have to do is you have to shave it, then they do it. And so then it's like a lot of people will like rock like a beanie or like something to kind of hide it because it starts to kind of look normal again like a couple weeks later or whatever. But then it scabs up. It's a whole thing.
But you can't play ball like that, man. He be balling. He be in the paint.
You can't take a
all
couple
it
weeks
takes
off?
is an elbow and your whole joint slide. Oh, God.
I'm doing porn with this shit. You don't think I'm getting some smackage on there? It's all right. It's rough. Be having dirty ass yeast infection pussy plunked on my head.
Look, if you guys see me wearing like a do-rag for like 4 months on the show, you know what happened. And there's going to be a big unveiling and all that shit. It's gonna
if
be
you
cool.
see me with a do-rag on the show,
Then you did it again.
I did it again. Honestly, a do-rag is the perfect thing to wear while you're healing it.
Right.
Because it's like you could loose it, you keep it a little bit loose so it'll look normal. That's
if
smart,
you could wear do-rags and play basketball, then Braun would have been stripped.
I feel like a do-rag might give me more problems than it's worth.
Yeah,
Because
definitely.
it's going to make me look a little weird.
Yeah.
I just don't think I'm the type.
It's a little bit.
Yeah.
Eminem used to wear do-rags.
Let me ask you something.
Yeah.
One of the big conversations going on in rap right now.
Skip right over that.
Let's go to a topic. Clip.
Right.
Akademiks getting heat from all the old heads in the rap game for basically saying that they're all dusty and broke. Timeline-wise, he just went on The Breakfast Club. I didn't see it yet.
Right.
So I don't know how the conversation went. But he basically got a shitload of rappers, old heads, pressing his line saying, how dare you speak about us like that?
You know, the funny thing, on the way over here, I got a call from somebody who's helped propel the culture tremendously. Needless to say, he's an OG. I'm not gonna call him an old head. And he was talking about how this culture doesn't necessarily what was the word? Was it support itself? And Akademiks was a prime example of that. I mean, we're in media, right?
Right.
I asked him, I was like, okay, are we mad at his statement or how he said it? And he said, yo, you know what? Honestly, it was how he said it.
Right,
He could have
100%.
said it. He could have said it
Because
with more
even
respect.
when LL was coming out and basically making his statement against Akademiks,
Right.
he wasn't denying it. He's saying we didn't have all the opportunities. People didn't understand how to make music in the same way that the new artists do. So it's not fair to point at us and say like, oh, y'all didn't capitalize on the fact that you were here early or whatever.
Right.
I'm sure LL Cool J wishes that he had Dr. Dre money, that he had invested in a tech company or a product as part of it.
Right.
I don't think anybody thinks that Akademiks is wrong. I actually think everybody gets that he had a fair point.
But it's like
There's a lot of things they don't want you to say, even if it's true,
disrespect.
right? Yeah.
But here's the thing. Would he have gotten the same amount of press and the response in the conversation, would it have been generated had he said, oh, they're going through a rough patch?
Right.
You know?
Definitely not. I think he was shocked that some random thing that he said on his Twitch ended up getting that much attention, because normally, especially when you're on Twitch, it's like you got a couple thousand people watching you live. It feels very intimate.
Yeah.
This is just me and my homies. We're just chatting here.
Nah, but I can tell you, I bet I know how it happened.
Yeah. No, I saw the clip. He was kind of like, the way he was talking was very much like in like a joking tone, just sort of saying, hey, fuck everybody.
Right.
It wasn't like he chose to get on live stream and was like, I'm going to break it down to you guys why all of the old rappers are losers, which is kind of like in isolation. It seems like that was the context. It's
Right.
kind of, it's a little trick that they play on you. I just still can't believe that like LL Cool J and Russell Simmons, all these people actually like, this became enough of a thing that they felt like it was warranted a response. When
It has to be.
none of these people have pretty much acknowledged Akademiks ever before. He was never on the Breakfast Club before, right? Like, because of this one controversial statement, it's, I mean, props to him for the Breakfast Club, because that's basically taking a negative and just turning it into a huge positive for him, you know?
Yeah, to get on the Breakfast Club.
Yeah, just to be able to take you getting shit from everybody. And he been cool with Charlemagne, but they never did that before.
I mean, that's what's up. Damn, he called old heads dusty and he got on the Breakfast Club. That's crazy.
But
Out of all his accomplishments. Anyway,
Yeah.
So, but I think it's a catch-22 when you think about it. Okay, Akademiks, he clearly doesn't have respect for the culture. He doesn't give a fuck about it. He's part of the me generation. You know what I mean? It's like either you got money, you don't. If you don't got money, you're not lit. And that's how I feel like, you know, that's pretty much his thought process on the whole shit, right?
right.
He said what he said, got a lot of people to respond, start a conversation. I think it was necessary.
Right.
Now, personally, a lot of my audience probably don't really rock with Akademiks because of, you know, he has this what's the word?
But
It's
be
just-
real. Don't you
it's not
think?
as authentic?
I feel like your audience probably follows his page on Instagram, might watch a video when it's some breaking news on YouTube, so-and-so got shot, yada, yada. But that you know, like that, some people have the relationship with them. They're watching his podcast. They might even tune into the Twitch or whatever.
Right.
But like the usefulness of him like breaking news and shit, because he is really fucking good at that.
Yeah.
He gets to the fucking point of the story. I can tell he talks to lawyers and shit to figure out exactly what's going on, how much time somebody's likely to get. You know,
so.
he does a good job with all that.
It's a bottle of liquor just sitting next to that.
Sometimes, but
I think that's what it is.
Sometimes I hear him saying shit that I'm like, there's no way that you just know this. Like, you definitely like tapped in with a lawyer and like figured out how this was gonna play out. When he's like, he's gonna get 3 to 7 years for this or that, where I'm like, you wouldn't just know that. You got to have talked to somebody.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay, all right, cool.
But either way, okay. You don't think your audience fucks with them, like generally speaking?
No, I think we got a different thing going on. I show a lot of respect to the culture, and it doesn't matter how much money you have. Like I of course, you know, you do interviews.
Yeah.
Some interviews you get the person's name and you're like, I don't think this is gonna do a lot of views, but I like this guy.
Right.
You know? Sometimes I get people and I'll be like, I don't know how many people are gonna pay attention to it, but if they do, it's gonna be a blessing because he knows too much about the game,
right,
and he's helped build the shit. So I'll do the interview out of respect.
Because we kind of come from a different generation, even though I'm only a little bit older than Ak, of thinking of popularity or success as not being the only metric.
Right.
A lot of the best battle rappers of all time were pretty much broke their whole life, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Still
a lot of old school rappers,
Yeah.
guys we like from the 90s, whatever, who never really saw that much success, but you would still regard them as a legend.
As a legend.
Yeah.
Because you grew up, you know, watching this shit.
Yeah.
Or listening to it or whatever, or it influenced your childhood. You don't just look at those people and be like, oh, you weren't successful business-wise, so fuck you. You're dusty now.
It can be weird because, especially, I come from the bike riding shit, you know? And, like, nobody has money. Like, there's, like, a couple company owners who have money, maybe a couple pros, but for the most part, it's a broke-ass subculture, right? And it's like, I'll see somebody who was on all the magazine covers when I was a kid, was the fucking man, sponsorships out the ass, all this money, all this whatever. And I'll just realize, like, I'll just see him on Instagram or see him in real life and realize, like, I mean, this dude's fucked up. Like, this, like, he got nothing.
Yeah.
Period.
Right.
And it can be kind of a weird feeling to be like, damn, like, I'm in a completely different space. Like, you were a god to me. And looking at it now, I realize you had some cool shit going with you at that moment, but you didn't have the mind to really put a business together that was going to last through your career after that.
Just being realistic, talent is not
Right.
a business.
A business mind. And
you can take the talent and turn it into business,
yeah.
right? But just because you have talent doesn't mean you're gonna know how to capitalize off of it.
And
that's why most rappers get jerked, because they have the talent, but they don't have the business sense.
You known a lot of people in your life who were the most talented lyricists, but then when it came to everything else surrounding that, they weren't willing to act in their own benefit. They weren't serious. They weren't going to show up on time. They weren't going to network. They weren't going to put on a good face around the people that they had to impress.
Show up high, bug the fuck out. I had a battle rapper argue with me on Spaces. He kept muting my mic, and he was bragging about, yo, I made $250,000 this year and da 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 da, and I'm like, I don't want to argue with you or anyone about money, because someone with more money than both of us could be listening, and they're going to chuckle at both of us. So what's the point? What's the point? And at the time, I was probably making more than what he was talking about in like 2-3 months.
Right.
I was like, why are we talking about this? We talking about talent. We talking about skill. Why are we talking about money?
Right.
And I get that that's important to some people, but once you get it, you realize everything else is important.
Right.
Way more important. Than like your peace is important. The people you have around you is important. Family, having a sense of success, because you can have money but not feel like I'm successful.
Because we all know that just having the money is not the thing. Because if you're a rich kid, hey, cool. Like, you might be a cool-ass dude. We might be able to be friends, whatever. Right. But you're absolutely not getting the same respect for having $1 million in your bank account if your dad gave it to you
Right.
as when we look at somebody who made that shit out the mud.
Right.
And now that's something I'm actually working on, like
That's why
unlearning.
you find rich kids in the hood.
I always looked down on rich kids like my whole life growing up
You know what I'm
because
saying?
I felt like you had it too easy. But the reality is it's not their fault. Like some
Yo,
people are just born in that situation.
I had a
you know?
girlfriend. Her mother was a VP of a Chase bank. She was in the projects,
Really?
fucking with me. You know what I'm saying?
Just
it
because she
like-
was attracted to that lifestyle?
But it wasn't about the money. It wasn't, you know, it was about some sort of substance, some sort of something that she valued.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
This
And
is the
it's not
BBC
the
too,
money.
right?
Huh?
The BBC? It's got to do something to her, right?
Of course, man. You know it does. You know it does.
That battle rapper energy.
Still number one, baby.
That big battle-tested cock.
Yo, battle rap groupies are different, bro.
Oh, I bet they are.
They're different.
They got dirty-ass feet and shit. They've been standing up all day. They can't wear
No,
heels.
not all of them. Not all of them. Not all of them. There's a lot of chicks that like battle rap,
Really?
but they don't be at the events.
Really?
Yeah, they don't be at the events.
The lit shit I saw when the one battle rap that I went to at Drake's birthday is that Remy Ma pulled up a fucking folding chair and sat her ass right down in front. She was not even.
Shout out to Remy.
Her and her
Remy's
friend were like, "Nah, we ain't standing up for this shit."
cool. Shout out to Remy. Remy's cool as fuck.
Yeah, no, she's dope. I was just like, I fucking saw her sitting up there, and I was like, that's a gangster ass move. Ain't nobody else in here thought to go grab those folding chairs. We're all trying to prove how tough we are by standing up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is usually if I'm standing during a battle, I slowly fade out as the rounds go.
Yeah.
'Cause I don't like being in the
My brain keeps just going to like how much my legs are hurting more and more.
Yeah, and who's that touching my back pockets?
Yeah, and and who's this guy that's gonna start telling me about his music career in my ear when I'm trying to listen to
Word.
the punchline?
I just felt someone's breath on my shoulder.
Yeah,
It makes no sense.
it's like a gym locker room at times, right?
Yeah, it's crazy.
So you feel like I wasn't sure when I met you. Like,
Mm-hmm.
do we have smoke because I'm cool with Dizaster?
We don't have smoke. Me and you, nah, we don't have smoke.
But how
We don't.
do you feel about him? How do you feel about me having him on my platform?
I mean, I wish him the best.
Right.
I try not to discuss that
Okay.
too much because, you know, he's got a history. I've got a history. Let's just leave that over there.
No, tell me exactly what happened.
What, between me and him? Here he goes, exploiting
remember-
black culture
Bro,
again.
I know you was
Here
was
he
mad as
is.
fuck.
Here
the
he
question
is.
is,
Listen,
I can't even
man.
ask the question.
Listen,
Snitching to ask the question. Did anything happen? What happened after that? Did shit get spicy in the streets?
If you're talking about the incident that happened out there, I stayed out there for an extra 2-3 days,
Yeah, and he wasn't trying to
telling
link
them,
up.
"Yo, you gotta link up with me. And if you don't link up with me, you know these things could get nasty."
Right.
And you know he didn't want to do it, so you know Daylight, unfortunately, his homeboy had to come to New York, and you know he's told that story a million times, but.
Oh, so y'all got daylight instead of him?
No, actually, Daylight went to his house and supposedly popped on him so that he could be good in New York.
Really?
The footage of Daylight fighting
Oh, I missed
Dizaster,
that arc.
whether it's real or not, you know, I don't know if they got together and they said, "All right, so we're gonna do this and we're gonna do that." Either way, it's flattering
Right.
that you know that's what he had to do to be good in New York, and you know.
All right, I'll accept that.
Right. But, you know, I haven't seen him in person.
What would that
Since
be
then.
like?
Someone tried to book the battle. They offered me a lot of money. And I was like, nah, it's not worth it.
You and him battling. Wow.
Yeah, it wouldn't be worth it, though. Like,
Still
that,
too
that should
annoyed
not
by
be
all
the
that?
next time that I see you.
Mm.
You dig what I'm saying?
Was this like 10 years ago now, or
Nah, I don't know, like
6?
8.
8.
But yeah, I spoke with his homeboys. They kind of, we don't want no part of that. And
Right.
That's between you and him, and whatever.
Okay.
You know. But it was a black eye
Right.
for battle rap
Mm.
at the time. You know
Right.
what I mean?
You don't feel like it was karma? A lot of people were trying to go with that narrative at the time.
Yeah, a lot of people was trying to go with that narrative. So if that's karma, then I guess my expert opinion is karma.
See, that's what I'm saying.
You dig what I'm saying?
When something good happens to you or something bad happens to you, it's tempting to say, oh, look, this good thing happened to me because I did something good 2 weeks ago.
Right.
But it's like, guess what? 6 months later, your aunt is going to get hit by a car and die. And guess what? That has nothing to do with the good shit that you did before.
Right.
It's all just random shit. Some of the best people
it's not
I
all
know in my
random
life.
shit.
Some of the best people I know in my life got cancer and died like 6 months later. Just great people. Never did nothing to nobody. Some of the biggest pieces of shit I ever known in my life
are living
great. Killing it.
California, baby.
Because they're just talented or some shit. But they're the biggest piece of shit ever. A lot of successful rappers. Biggest piece of shit ever.
But their story isn't over. You never know.
Right. It's true.
You never know.
But we're all going to
For me, as far as looking at it as karma, I think it was just, I can't say it's karma. I can't really say it's karma because in the situations where I did what I did, for one, it was one-on-one. It doesn't make it doesn't make it right. But I feel like I went through worse and I handled it better. You know?
Right. So
it was like, if this is something that happens in battle rap, it's about how you handle it. Right. You know what they say, life is 10% what happens to you and 90% how you respond to it.
True. But the punching people trend is mostly over in battle rap, right? Is it still going down?
I don't think. I think battle rap has been not commercialized, but it's almost looked at as some pussy nigga shit. You know what I'm saying?
Let me ask you this: when I was backstage at that battle, I started to realize a lot of these people who are battling each other and acting like they hate each other on stage actually totally get along and don't give a fuck. Which probably should have been obvious to me already. But back in the day, or 8 years ago, 10 years ago, was it way more likely to be actual static?
No, I just didn't belong. You know what I'm saying? Because I was actually there trying to feel something like,
right.
I really don't like you, so I'm going to tell the truth.
Right.
And people would battle me and make shit up and, oh, you this, and then you did this, and I'm like, what? All right, I win. My shit is true.
Listen, that battle I was at, fucking Crip City.
Yeah, out there.
If somebody punched somebody, and hey, they had metal detectors out there, but I'm guessing that shit would have got aired the fuck out.
I don't know.
I'm looking at a lot of people in that building like, oh, they're not going to let somebody
Were they like OGs?
There was a whole melting pot of different various brands of Crips, all the way from the more extreme Crips to the maybe a little bit less extreme Crips.
To the watered down Crips.
Maybe a blood or two, I don't know.
To the I just rap Crips.
It was a vibe. And hey, everybody was super cool. But it also was like, oh yeah, some shit could definitely go down.
If you were maybe a blood battling and you said something, you crabs, what would have happened?
But it ain't really like Bloods versus Crips, but definitely for sure like somebody had beef with it could go. Yeah.
I don't know.
No, you wouldn't want to be a blood rapper in there.
It was more dangerous back in the days, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. We was showing up to these things armed to the teeth. Like,
I bet. I hear.
Like if we had an issue with another rap group,
right,
they had to do their battle early and leave before we got there.
Okay.
So it was yeah.
But so, okay,
crazy.
What's it feel like now? You're a podcaster, man. Like, you got a lot of the same shit that was important to you then would be kind of unbecoming for the new Math Hoffa, right? Do you feel like you're transitioning into a new guy?
I still rap. I could keep.
I'm not talking about rap, but like, all right, podcasters beef differently. They make fucking podcast episodes about each other. No, but if you have an issue with someone, you make podcasts about each other and shit. It's not like, oh, hey, well, let's go meet up in the parking lot.
I've never done that.
Okay.
I've never had beef with another podcast. I don't think I ever will, because I can almost to any extent, even with Akademiks, when people be like, yo, Akademiks is a piece of shit. He's this, he's that. I'll be like, I can half understand. I can half understand. And if you're talking to me about it, then he did his job.
Right.
You know? Yeah, So I can see that.
But that can be a tricky mentality, though, of like, people talking about me is good. Attention is good.
Mm-hmm. How did you feel when Joe Budden was attacking you? Did you feel like this is gold right now?
I actually felt fine during it.
Yeah.
I felt like totally comfortable. And then I said to him at one point, I'm like, I'm pretty sure you're going to read the comments on this shit and realize that you're not making the point that you think you are. And he laughed right in my face. Like, oh, you bet. Wait till you see.
Yeah.
And then when so I went into it, I left. I'm like, listen.
Can we read the comments
I'm like,
on that?
I think, I'll put it this way. I saw a poll in his Reddit that said like 85% of his Reddit thought that I won the argument, which was pretty crazy when you think it's like 4 guys I never met on home turf against me, right?
Right.
But I was questioning myself because he was so sure that he had like bodied me. But then like when it really comes down to it, like the points he was trying to get off didn't really hit the way he thought they were going to hit.
It felt like a reach.
Yeah.
It felt like a reach because, I mean, realistically, like we do media. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
And I say this about Joe. Joe's a great guy, but sometimes he could be very hypocritical. You know what I mean? He'll criticize you for something, and then the next week is, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, so when I was looking at it, I was like, okay, yeah, this it just felt, it didn't feel genuine. It felt like someone wrote that on a sheet, and they were like, oh yeah, we gotta go here.
Yeah, it's like a boring criticism. That's the problem, is that it wasn't really like effective because everybody doing the same shit, really. Like, because like an attack, like you're attacking the exact kind of content that is popular, that people actually click on all day, and those same people at home would be mad if that content didn't exist anymore.
No, but not only that, but as he's criticizing it, are those people supposed to feel embarrassed?
Yeah, no.
I clicked on that.
Right.
Is he talking about me? Did I do that to the culture? Nah, come on.
And then right after, he interviews the fucking guy who killed Osama bin Laden.
And that is what I'm talking about. And that is what I'm talking about. Like Osama don't got homies out there. That's like,
imagine how
come
they feel.
on, man, he talking to this guy. Like, his family's still rich and popping, and you sitting there like, so he blew his head off?
My
like,
heart goes out to those ISIS family members sitting at home having to watch Joe Budden interview this killer. Oh, terrible. That's worse than anything that ever happened on the block.
Because in some place, you know, he's the hero and we're the villains. So, you know what I mean? Like, how sensitive are you being? Like, come on, man. It's media, man.
Right.
It's media. You play this game according to your own morality.
What's some shit though that has tested your morality, or that has been like maybe an opportunity and you were like, it's just a little bit too much not me to ask this question or have this person on or something like that? Because I'm sure that as you find yourself as a broadcaster, that there are certain cases that kind of make you wonder what to do.
What? That's a tough one. Because I know we go through this. When you get guests on the show, there's certain things, and you know, I ask, just like I asked you, is there anything you don't want to talk about?
Right.
And then you kind of sit back and listen to people's lists. There's been a couple times people mention shit that I'm like, I don't even know what's going on with that. I need to go do some research.
That's a weird feeling.
I had no idea that you guys had, like,
Vlad will pause the shit and sit there and Google shit for 10 minutes and then restart the interview.
Yeah, that's a fact.
That's smart.
That's a fact. He don't
but
got
I don't got it in me. I got to keep flowing.
For me, like, recently I had somebody on the show and their publicist was like, no Young Thug questions. And I was like, what the fuck is that? What happened?
I'm trying to think of who you had on that would have.
It's not out yet. It's not out yet.
Okay.
But I called the person and I was like, yo, yeah, your publicist said no Young Thug questions.
Right.
I was actually trying to figure out like what the fuck the deal was. And he was like, oh, nah, man, just ask me whatever you want. And I was like, okay.
You want to hear a good one?
What?
All right. So the other day I interviewed Boss Top from O Block.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like King Von's man and everything.
Right.
And like right before that, Quando Rondo's car had got shot up in West Hollywood. His homie gets killed, right? And so Quando Rondo, obviously the dude who his boy killed.
Condolences.
Right. So then I was talking about it with some of the guys in the office, and they were like, did you ask Boss Top how he feels about Quando Rondo's car getting shot up? And I'm like, nah. And they're like, Joe Budden got you scared. And I'm like, no. I'm like, I just
Joe
thought.
got you spooked.
I just thought.
Joe got you spooked. Bro.
Listen, to me, that crosses
How did
a little
Adam
bit
not
of a
go
line.
there?
That's
Like,
a little bit of a line, right?
Yeah, that's like, come on, man. Like,
There's a line there. Because I already know how you feel. I already know you're happy, and I already know you're not going to admit it.
right. So have I ever been in that position again? Nah, I can't say that I have. Not yet.
Did you think you were just going to be interviewing battle rappers at first?
That's what I wanted to do.
Right.
And they started hating.
Really?
Yeah, they started telling each other, hey, then don't do a show. If you're gonna do a show, charge your money.
Really?
Yeah, and I was like, you bitch ass
These
nigga.
motherfuckers.
You know who I am? Fuck you.
That's hilarious.
It is. And I actually I said, you know what? I'm gonna stop.
Right.
Stop. Even the guys I was cool with, I was like, nah. Let me go into my Rolodex. Because for me, it was always like there are people in battle rap that's just known for battle rap.
Right.
I was a young dude, like, I don't know if you watched the Bimmy episode.
I did.
And Bimmy talked about, wanting to sign me back in the day.
Yeah. And
Like, I was moving around. I was
too reckless. So that verifies that you're not just capping when you say that you were wilding back then.
Yeah, I was a little extra. So I was moving around. Battle rap became an option to make myself more popular, to go get a record deal.
Right.
But once, me and T-Rex, we got locked in. They paid us $5,000. The girl I was with at the time was like, yo, since I known you, all your homies been locked up. If this is a way for you to get money, transition. And I didn't listen right away. But after a while, I said, all right, I'm doing this now.
But you think that, like, being a battle rapper kind of puts a weird tint on your career that people don't want to listen to you do non-battle rap shit? Because it feels like, in large part, the battle rappers make music that performs like nothing in comparison to their battle rap shit, right?
I'm going to tell you exactly what it is. People have a perception of battle rappers.
Yeah.
See, people would want to hear my music, like, shout out to Funk Flex, drop bombs on my shit out here, all that, you know what I mean? But people want to hear my music because they got to know me a lot more. So whatever stigmas or whatever generic settings they had for viewing battle rappers, they don't look at me like that. So I'm kind of like in the clear. And honestly, it was a blessing that these guys started hating on me. Because now I'm in a different space. I got a music label. Shit is just different.
Right. So you focus on that too, doing the label thing? You got artists and
Yeah,
shit?
I be in the studio for like 24 hours straight.
Oh, really? Okay.
Like a machine, baby.
So the podcast feels like a part-time job in comparison, or what?
Nah, the podcast is the bread and butter.
Okay.
For now. But, it's a challenge for me to see if I can make something else the bread and butter.
Right.
And then something else the bread and butter. And then something else the bread and butter.
Right.
So that's where I'm at with it.
But how do you feel? Are you a full-on YouTube nerd? You in the analytics looking like, I got to keep my numbers up this week? Are you doing all the shit that all the corny YouTubers do?
It's like watching the block, bro.
Yeah.
Like watching the block. You selling crack down here.
Yeah.
You selling dope up the block. Damn, there's mad people going that way.
Right.
I'm watching them walk past.
Right.
I'm like, yo, homie, you good? Nah. They heading up the block.
Right.
So you what? Okay, all right, cool. I need to figure this out. What you cutting your shit with? How much you put in the bag? What kind of thing you all right, cool. And it was just collecting information and figuring it out.
When your YouTube is spiking, are you walking around with a little extra pep in your step, or what?
No, when my YouTube spikes, I'm like, I'm thinking, how can I make it spike even higher than that? Like this last week was the first time we dropped like three clips from 3 different episodes in 1 week. So shit shot up.
Right.
I was like, okay, all right, we here.
Right. It's the best feeling seeing it spike up, and then it's also kind of a burden because it's going back down unless you drop something ASAP.
Yeah, and it's always that watching it. Like, see, in my mind, I have a certain amount that I feel like I can't go below this amount a month. So if I drop an interview and it's not hitting the right way, or YouTube does this hater shit like, oh, they get money over there, yellow checks. You know what I'm saying?
You get that?
I hate that shit. So when they do that shit, and I'm like, oh, all right, cool. I gotta have some stuff in the stash for this.
Right.
And I'll just start flushing stuff out, or I'll just make the necessary adjustments to make sure I hit a particular number. And then after a while, okay, I got this for a little while. Let me set a bigger number.
Right.
And then I'll make the adjustments to hit that shit.
Right.
But it's just watching it. It's not nerdy shit.
Yeah.
It's like if you're about business or you about, anything, you kind of figure out how it works, what makes it propel, and you work toward those things.
It's just weird to be able to have it all right there in front of you. You know exactly how much you made. You know exactly where it came from. Like you're selling drugs or whatever. It's like, is there another block 5 blocks away that's lit as fuck? I mean, you might not find out for a little while.
Right.
But on YouTube, it's like, no, here's all the information.
No, I look for the other blocks too.
Yeah.
I look for the other blocks too. Like, is there another site that does this? Oh, there's the other sites that claim to have higher rate advertising rates, but they don't have the traffic.
Fuck all that.
Yeah, fuck all that.
Fuck all that.
YouTube for life, motherfuckers.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks to like embrace the fucking, I don't want to use the P word that you're working at. What's the plantation that you're working at?
The plantation.
Because it kind of feels like that sometimes, right? Where it's like, you don't really have a choice. Like, where the fuck else are you going to go?
Yo, like, let's keep it real. Do you feel the hate sometimes?
We'll hate.
Like when the channel is doing really good and then something that does not deserve the yellow check gets the yellow check and you're like,
all the time, yeah.
What the fuck? We were talking about Jesus Christ on this clip.
Ugh.
Why did they yellow check?
Bro. A lot of my biggest interviews, the game interview, gets it's going up, gets 800K, flat.
Did you how did you feel about his diss?
I don't know. I mean, I felt like he could have just not done it.
It was the I don't know political.
I love the guy.
He didn't have to, right?
But I mean, he didn't have to do it. It wasn't anything all that great. But
Yeah.
the entire conversation about it since it came out has been, what the fuck was that?
He didn't need it. I listened to the album.
Yeah.
It's a good album.
I don't know who told him that was a good idea. I didn't think it was a great idea. If I was his manager, I would have said,
But then who's his manager, right?
Yeah, Wack. But I don't think Wack loved it either. Wack claimed to not really be a fan of it. Yeah. Yeah, you tried to set me up. You were trying to ask me all these Wack 100 questions, trying to get me to
because it was
come
hot.
to New York.
It was
talk
hot at
shit
the time.
about the biggest pyro in LA. I see what you're doing.
It was hot. I was like, yo, it was things that he put out there. I had to ask.
That's true.
You got me back. You just got me back.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So we're here now.
Yeah. No, I mean, I love Wack, but he be wilding.
Yeah, definitely.
I can't,
Definitely.
like the best people on camera will have some opinions that you kind of feel like, I can't believe that you're even capable of saying that. Like, would you interview Charleston White?
I would. I would. But I'd probably have like fucking Mysone in the room or something. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he'd have to have his prep. No, he would have to have his prep. No, not
so when shit gets really rocky,
security.
you call Mysone?
No.
I didn't know that. Like, I'm not familiar with the hierarchy.
No, my level of security is actually bigger.
Oh.
Yeah.
But he's like community activist and all that shit now, right?
Well, Mysone is.
Yeah.
Not bigger.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay.
No.
How'd you end up on the co-hosts that you have now? Is it consistent? Sometimes I notice that certain guys aren't there. Is that like, are there reserves?
No one is safe.
Is there a couple guys who are like
no one
dying
is
to
safe.
get tagged in, but they're sort of just waiting on those seats over there?
Nobody's safe. Nobody.
So you're relentless with it?
Yeah, you gotta eat. You gotta look, man. Kill what you eat.
Really?
Yeah.
But okay, as a host.
Nah, I got love for my guys.
But as a host, sometimes you be sitting there, you're interviewing somebody, and somebody starts saying some stupid ass shit that you just wish you could jump out of your chair and be like, stop talking about that. I don't want to talk about that shit. Ask them about this. I'm a control freak. So I be thinking about that shit all the time of like, this is not going where I want it to go.
Right.
You got a little bit of that in you?
Definitely, but I'll kind of see where it's going, or I'll cut it off if I feel like, no. We going too far. Because sometimes you'll be like, yeah, and that was the first time I killed somebody. Yo, where do you get your sneakers at? What the fuck?
Yes, that.
What the fuck? And I'll just be sitting there like, but I probably do the same shit sometimes and they catch me. So it's like,
Because sometimes you'd be so eager in an interview, you'd be so excited that you'd be like a kid and you just start saying shit out of order. You like want to ask them about something so much that you ask them about it and you forget to ask them about 10 things that you wanted to ask before that. Because in my head, it's got to, the order of things kind of has to make sense, right?
Right. For me, I've forgotten a lot of shit. Like, yo, why didn't we ask him about? But fuck it, it was a good interview. You know what I mean? It wasn't meant to be. What really kills me though is when you get an interview with somebody and you know they're telling you all these stories, these great stories off camera.
Right.
And then they sit down and it's like they can't comment on certain shit.
Yeah.
And then you take a break and they continue telling you these crazy stories and you're like, yo, you can't say this on camera? Nah, dog, I can't do it. And you're like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
That shit pisses me off.
That's a problem with a lot of people. And really, like, when I'm trying to, like, teach my dudes how to do interviews or, like, you know, give them advice and stuff, like, I got a dude, T-Rel, who does interviews on our platform, interviews people all the time.
Right.
And, you know, he's successful in his own right. He got a clothing store and all this kind of shit. And he'll sit down and interview somebody, and he feels like he's doing them a big favor, taking time out of his day to do this interview with them, and they sit down and they don't say fucking shit. They're giving them 2-word answers, and he kind of came to me at a certain point, like, what the fuck? Like, I don't want to do it. Like, how do I do this? Like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, see, that's why with me, it is mandatory that I have a conversation with you before. Like, if you're somebody that I don't, you know, like Adam, I don't really have to have an extensive conversation.
Because we will do this. Already,
exactly.
Yeah.
So you're not going to come in there and be like, yeah, so I got a podcast.
Right.
And then sit there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But some people, like, I have to have a conversation with you because if you come up in here and this shit is moving slow, like, no, I can't do this shit. I can't.
See, I can get away with it to an extent because my platform is like, everybody knows I'm trying to interview a lot of the up and coming rappers and shit. So it's like, it's kind of like a test. If you give me a shitty 20-minute interview, I'm still putting it out. It's going to just be there. It's going to be like, this is what the interview was.
Right.
If it's trash, it is what it is. Everybody's going to know that at least I got the trash interview.
Listen, I need people to know if you're going to do interview, you said something that I felt like was so valuable, and I don't know how many people think about this. Someone came to you and said, yo, just the artist, I want you to interview him. You said, no, he's not ready yet. And interviews are something that you should build up. It shouldn't be a frequent thing. You know what I mean? It should be, you know, you should kind of like save that moment.
Oh, yeah.
That's real.
Yeah.
So many people be in a rush to do interviews and they don't got shit to talk about. And it's like, why?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? People hit me up, yo, I want to come on your platform because this person said this. But then after we address that, what the fuck do you have to talk about?
Right. If you want an interview, you should be able to line out the things that you are going to talk about that would be interesting. Like a person who is going to be able to DM me and just get an interview from a DM would be the person who could list off all these topics of these are the things I could talk about. And granted, this is difficult, right? Because it's like the standard is pretty high.
Pay attention because we're giving you the resume.
Right.
If you're not that popular, but you want to be on a popular platform and get interviewed, this is what you should do.
The standard is high, right? Because I feel like in the early days of YouTube, if you got shot 10 times, that would like you go viral off that.
Yeah.
Nobody gives a fuck anymore.
Facts.
Like we put it in the title all the time. So and so talks about getting shot, just because like we're trying to find the most interesting shit in the fucking timestamps, and it's like, well, that's pretty dramatic.
Right.
It doesn't necessarily mean that anyone's gonna care, right? Like,
Facts.
it might be better than whatever the fuck else somebody else has, but even that, the most dramatic thing that could happen to you, is not enough to make people fucking care. So
because they've seen it already.
Yeah, they've seen too much.
They've seen too much.
Yeah.
What the fuck are the headlines 5 years from now gonna look like?
Yeah. If I had an artist, if I was managing some 21-year-old kid, he's cool as fuck, the last thing I would want is for him to do a press tour and tell the same fucking stories on Vlad, Say Cheese, No Jumper, everything in a row. Fuck no. I would want him to do one interview with one platform that we choose that really is gonna set the scene for who they are.
Yeah.
In the sense that if you are an up-and-coming underground rapper, maybe No Jumper is the look that you want to go with. If you're trying to be, I don't know. Like, you know, all these brands have like sort of different images to them, you know? Like if you really want to be like a radio star or some shit, maybe you're going to go do Breakfast Club or something like that, more pop. If you want to be known in the battle rap space or the more like traditional hip hop space, maybe you want to go on Mad Shit because that could brand you as being somebody who has respect for that part of the culture, right?
And that's the status.
If you do 10 interviews in a row, no one gives a fuck. Even me, I came to New York when I did your shit. Some of them did good. Like the one I did with you did good. Did one on Barstool that did good. I had Flagrant with Andrew Schultz that did good. But I mean, I did like 8 other episodes at the same time that didn't do good. But if I had just done one of those, then maybe those would have done good because why is somebody going to go watch me on a smaller platform when they could watch the bigger platform that had me on? They know that's the one that everybody else already is going to be watching, right?
Right.
You know?
But have you ever had someone come on your platform and be like, yo, I just did an interview with such and such. Can you wait to drop yours?
Yeah, because Vlad is down the street. They'll be like, oh, I just did Vlad, now I'm doing yours. You know what that means? I'm texting my publicist, yo, let's make sure this shit drops tomorrow. And he does it to me, too.
For me, they be like, yo, just let them live. Let them live. And I'm like, we don't let people live.
I realized that Vlad was aware of it because we both interviewed Rico Reckless and his boy Ewall at the same time, and they did crazy. They said like a lot of the same stories. They talked about the Glock dookie.
No, I don't know what
you
the
didn't
Glock
see that?
dookie
The Glock dookie is like in the Chicago prison system, I guess. You take a shampoo bottle, fill it up with diarrhea, and then you run down on an op like, hey, give me your fucking ramen noodles or I'm about to blast you with this shit. And they call it a Glock dookie.
The Glock dookie.
You like that?
What the fuck?
And this was like such a thing.
This is something real?
This was on Joe Rogan. They watched this clip on Joe Rogan's podcast.
Wow.
Vlad's clip. He said the exact same story with me, but because, see, Vlad has a line. He'll do an interview and then not drop it for 2 weeks because he got a line of all this other shit, you know? Yeah. But when we both did that the same day, boom, he dropped it the next day.
Both of y'all.
I mean, I got it out as soon as possible, but he had it up. Like, I don't remember who beat who. But
I think I did an interview with Drama.
Right.
And he was like, yo, I just did Rory and Mall. Can you kind of hold off? I was like, man, fuck that. I said, for you, Drama, I got you.
Right.
I got you. But yeah, I don't like that.
See, that's how you brand yourself. If you want to say you hate Joe Budden, you go do a Rory Mall episode.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm cool. I'm cool with.
Serious.
Well, I'm cordial with both sides.
Right.
But
both.
I don't know. They're
it's the fucking Bloods and the Crips.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
But they're all kind of. I don't know. Joe's in a different category, man. He's in a different category.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just different.
All right.
Like, what would you if you were an artist? What kind of artist would?
A drill rapper, for sure.
Drill rapper would?
Yeah. I mean, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it big. Go all the way in. Extendo, backpack full of switches.
All that.
Pick me up. I got 100 switches on me.
Do you really love drill rappers like that?
I do like the music, sure, yeah, but
why?
I don't want to live that life.
So obsessed with Black Murder. Why?
It's kind of interesting. I mean, there's a lot going on, you know. You watch action movies? I don't, but I'll listen to King Von.
Instead.
Well, I'm just saying I have no desire to watch action movies. I never watched a Jean-Claude Van Damme video without looking away after like 20 minutes.
Nah, he has some good movies though.
But like, I don't know, when you take like rap music and then you infuse it with all this drama and stuff, I mean, let's be real, it's kind of compelling.
Yeah, definitely.
The least compelling, and this is the problem for battle rappers, and I guess they figured this out at a certain point, the least compelling type of rap is I'm good at rapping rap.
Yeah, I you know what? And you know what's funny? As a battle rapper, I used to hate when people rapped about rap.
Yeah.
That shit used to just like...
Nothing will make you sound more dated than saying, I rip these tracks on the microphone. And I tear these beats to shred. If you rapping about what you're going to do
like
to
what you're going to do to a beat and rapper, and I'm the top rapper. And it's a shame.
Like is a game.
Did you just diss Eminem low key though?
No, but even he's got to be at least a little aware of that dynamic, right?
Yeah.
But I mean,
the rap guy.
That's weird, right?
That's the whole premise for rap guy.
That rapping is not. People aren't supposed to rap about rapping anymore. They got to rap about all this other shit.
No, you can rap about whatever the fuck you want to rap about. It's just me personally. I don't care about. You know, you're the greatest MC ever. Save all that cannabis shit for somebody else.
Because if you're gonna rap about you're the greatest MC, well, you're gonna have to rap about a lot of other shit before to convince me.
Yeah.
Like somebody's first song being about how they're the best rapper is hilarious because I've seen that many times when we're getting the donations. People donate for us listening to music.
I used to do shit like that.
Yeah.
I used to do shit like that when I was young. But
That was
after
normal.
a while, when I would play it, like, you know, I had older homies that I used to hang with.
Right.
Like people on my block didn't know how old I was because I was always with the older guys.
Right.
So I would play this music to them and they'd be like, "Yeah, but you rapping about rap."
Right.
Like, yo. And that's when I started like incorporating like stuff that was going on in the hood, and it would be a hit for these like, what? Yo, that happened last week.
Relatable.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you say, I was standing by the corner store and this crazy shit happened, went down, that's relatable.
Right.
Everybody,
and if it's true,
everybody's seen some bullshit go down. Everybody, and never mind if you were involved or if you had some kind of heroic tale, whatever, or anything like that.
Right.
I mean, that's relatable.
Right.
Saying I'm the best rapper ever. Well, most people listening to this don't rap. They don't give a fuck about you being the best rapper in the world. I mean, it's just reality.
but not only that, but like if you just looked at the culture, the rappers that rap like that, they don't make it that far, with the exception of one,
Logic.
Eminem.
Oh yeah.
But most of the guys that rap like him don't do stadiums. They don't do, you know what I mean? Like they don't have the same success.
Yeah.
So
But why would we ever think that the most popular stuff of a genre would be the extremely intricate technical shit? Like, what are the rock bands that kill it? It's fucking System of a Down. It's not Dragon Force.
right. It's not that.
You know, like
It's not that.
the mainstream shit is gonna be the shit that is a little bit easier to consume.
That's why for me, like making music now as a battle rapper,
Right.
I was doing music before then, but I try to focus more on life experiences. I put bars in there,
Right.
for the people who like to judge your pen,
Right.
and say, well, does he have a pen? Can he say some shit that's a double entendre, triple, da da da? I'll put all that shit in there because it's easy. Coming from battle rap, that shit is like too easy. It's like a code that you can just write in.
That's why I feel sometimes when I'm listening to a lot of like street rappers, drill rappers, whatever, it's like you could be rapping so much better without compromising your flow. Like I understand that they don't want to rap super technical because they're more about the flow and the rhythm of the song, being on beat, whatever. But you could still just be doing so much better on these beats.
Right.
And I just sometimes wish that was more of like a cultural norm for people to care about that more.
I think that we just need to kind of connect the old school with the new school. And if they could just find a blend, because the people who really like find success, they find the blend. They find the okay, I'm not so new that I just don't give a fuck about bars, but I got bars, but I'm giving you life experiences at the same time, and I'm mature enough to not rap about shit that's gonna put me in jail. So I'm J. Cole.
Right.
You know what I mean?
There's only so many J. Cole spots available, I feel like. The same way there's only so many Eminem spots, because you've seen 5 million white boys coming for that category, right? And sometimes I feel like someone fills that category for a certain generation of people. Like when X died, I know it's not like your wheelhouse, but I feel like that genre kind of died with him. Like, because I heard a million artists trying to sound like him afterwards,
And it's not working.
and nobody gave a fuck.
Yeah.
You would have thought that they were looking for a replacement.
Yeah.
Bro, Pop Smoke. How many New York artists we heard that sounded exactly like Pop Smoke?
I was even in the booth like, made it out the hood, I'm so grateful.
You got a new voice.
It's my voice, but I realized like,
Right.
yo, nigga, you're doing this because you listening to too much Pop Smoke.
You ever hop on
You
like
know
a
what I'm saying?
were you on like a Ron Browse beat back in the day?
Ron, bro, nah.
You remember that
I
shit?
Like, oh gosh, yeah. Shout out to Ron, but
Everybody was embracing
it
the
was
auto-tune
just so
sound for a
Harlem.
minute.
It was like,
Yeah.
as I'm being from Brooklyn, and I was like allergic to them shits. Like, stay away, chicken noodles, soup.
Dude,
No.
I remember Jadakiss saying something like, "I'm gonna smack you with a Glock the size of a sub from Subway." And I was like, this shit has gone too far, Jada. But there was a ton of bars like that at that time. I'm gonna smack you with a gun the size of a blank.
No, what about whip the color of mayonnaise?
Oh, all that.
with mustard mixed in.
Yeah.
Like, there's a million whip the color of.
Oh yeah.
If somebody was to take like and make a list of all the whip the color of, it's crazy.
There was a lot of like rap game. Like I think Riff Raff started it, but a lot of people were doing it for a minute. Rap game and then just anyone.
Yeah.
Rap game Wade Boggs. Boom, you're lit. You got any like what do you regret?
What do I regret?
You put any like whack ass shit out that just really like hope the fans don't dig it up?
Let me think. Nah, I'm good with all that shit.
You respect it.
If anything, you look it up and you see either I got better or I got more mature.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm good with that shit.
Right.
Because everybody got to start somewhere.
Right.
You know? I feel like that's the problem. A lot of rappers come out nowadays, they're already rich. You know, they're already super gangsters. They're already, I live in a mansion. It's that we don't get to see that transition no more. You know what I mean? We used to get to see Hoodie Biggie with the Raiders band on, and then we got to see Versace Biggie, and it was like, oh shit, he came up. We got to see, Fat Joe with the army jacket.
But you think your fans want to see Versace Matt Hoffa in the barbershop?
They wouldn't have a choice.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have a fucking
but is
choice.
that in your mind, is it like, oh shit, I'm gonna cop 5 chains because the fans are gonna be hyped?
No, I do sometimes like I find myself like, cause I got like, I got high end shit in my closet.
I'm sure.
But when I'm going to the barbershop, I'm like, yo, am I styling on niggas? I don't wanna style on niggas too hard.
Yeah.
And you put this $900 Dior shirt back in the closet and wear some other shit. You know what I mean? Like, fuck it.
I feel it. I feel it.
What's that was a question I have for you. What was it?
Something about Jadakiss with a gun the size of a sub from Subway?
What song is that? Anybody
I don't know, but I'm pretty sure if you Google it,
anybody know? Jadakiss, Sub from Subway.
The thing I'm scared of is that it was like a J Hood lyric.
Yeah, it sounded like.
That
sounds like a J Hood lyric.
Yeah, but I bet there was like a Jadakiss version that was better.
J-Hood? That would be a great interview.
I remember
J Hood, if you're out there, call me first. Call me first.
Great idea. I love that idea, J Hood.
Yeah.
Wait, one thing that I remember back in the day is I think that it might have been his mom's house burned down, and it was on the news, and he like clearly like lived in the crib, and a lot of people like this was being posted on World Star on the blogs and stuff. A lot of people like, you acting like you the shit. You living with your moms, rah rah rah. What do you think this was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I just remember that back in the day though, because I was so young that I was like, oh, okay, so they're not all rich. Okay.
Oh, were you just finding that out?
You kind of thought like, oh, all these guys are talking about selling crack. They must all have money from selling crack, right?
Well, I'm not going to say who, but I'm in the studio with guys from years ago.
Right.
And they were like, look, man, you think this chain is real? And I'm sitting there, some rappers, they'll give you a speech like,
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Think it's real? Please. But I'm hopping out of a $300,000 vehicle, so nobody's gonna question me.
If you had a fake chain for 10 years and nobody knew, that's like catching a body and getting away with it. That's amazing. That's like, damn, you really did it. You did the worst thing that nobody's supposed to do, and you got away with it.
So I guess Baby from Cash Money, he caught mad bodies.
What, he had fake chains back then?
Yeah, they was talking about it. It was like, yo, yeah, shit wasn't, man, nah, it wasn't what it was. Damn. But they had to make it look like it was what it was, Wow. You can't have Cash Money records and you're like, all right, we get the little small joint because that's all we can afford for now.
Because to me, my mentality has always been, I'm not playing the jewelry game. I don't give a fuck. It's not me. I'm not doing it. Sometimes I'll see a rapper on all the blogs and everything with their new chain, and I realize, or never mind with the Lambo truck or the new car or whatever, and I start to realize like, this is all marketing. Maybe I'm tripping by not dipping my toe in.
Right.
But at the same time, it's like, well, you're not going to do what Future's doing. So what the fuck are you even going to be doing, right?
Right, exactly.
You're not going to be doing what Thug is doing.
You got to find your look.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Find your look.
But what better chance to take advantage of my white privilege by just dressing like a fucking bum?
Is that really white privilege? Because
yes. Bill Gates gets to walk around.
There's a lot of rich people that do that. I think, I don't know.
I mean, it's really more of just like a facet of white culture that like flexing is way less of a thing.
Yeah, definitely.
You know?
flexes the stock portfolio or some shit like that.
Like all those Silicon Valley, all these fucking billionaire ass tech investors, crypto dudes, whatever. I mean, once in a while they'll have like a fucking Balenciaga hoodie, but for and they might have a nice watch.
Did you buy it though?
This?
No, I'm saying the Balenciaga hoodie. Did you buy it? Did you go to the store and say, I want that?
Well, I mean, let's be real. If you have like many millions of dollars in your bank account, then like a $1,500 hoodie is like, what the fuck? Like, who cares?
Exactly.
But that's the problem, though, is that we all know people who have like $1,500 and they bought a $1,500 hoodie.
That's the bad part. That's the terrible part.
Is that like the kids will watch Kylie Jenner and think, oh, I got to do everything she doing to be cool.
If you live in the projects, you should not have a Gucci belt. I'm saying it here. I'm saying it now. If you live in the projects, you should not have a Gucci belt. Prioritize yourself, man.
Right here on Canal Street would be a great place to pick up a fake one.
Oh yeah, Canal.
The fakes are pretty good.
Look, yo, if you're the type like you date those superficial chicks that like bags and shit like that, bro.
Oh, I should bring my girl a fake bag.
No, not your girl.
Okay, my side chick.
Side chick.
I don't have one.
I
gotta get one.
There it is. Yeah, there it is.
I'll bring my mom a fake bag.
You know,
she'll fall for it too.
Facts.
My mom will fall for it.
And the thing is, like, most of the people who really want those type of things don't know what the real one looks like anyway.
Exactly. My mom has no clue.
They've never been in a fucking store.
She got like 45 Facebook friends. Nobody's gonna tell her.
Facts. Look, my son got me.
Wow, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Write that down.
I got a bar. I said, gold diggers trying to get a new Birkin. GPS root canal. My tooth hurting. I don't know if you caught it. GPS root canal. My tooth hurting. Yeah.
I remember Cam said,
yeah, different.
We did Delancey Street, cat food, fancy feast. And I still don't really know what he was getting at, but that shit sounded funny. Like, damn, you really putting the words together.
I love Cam, but some of his stuff, bro. No, I love Cam. Shoot my show in Harlem. You know what I'm saying? But some of the, you know, the life on the lyrics, you go back and you're like, I don't know if this is still.
Nah, that shit hard. Because let me tell you, in reflecting, because I knew I just loved Cameron the second I heard him when I was like 18. Oh my God, this guy's so sick. And I didn't really think about why I liked him so much. But when I think about it now, it's like he had me convinced. And I have no idea what Cameron is like in the streets.
Right.
He had me convinced he was a stone cold killer who was also the silliest, most playful lyricist who would say anything, the wildest shit, the most ridiculous bars, the weirdest shit that I couldn't believe he knew about.
Right.
But he also said it all with such a straight face and that fucking just mean mug that just made me really believe he was 100% about this life. If you know that he's not, do not tell me. I don't want to know. I want to believe Cameron forever.
Yeah, I love Cam, man.
Even you laughing like that's kind of fucked up.
I'm just saying, like you get to a certain point in your life where you're like playing your music and your kids are in the car, and they ask you, what does computers Putin mean? And you can't explain it. You can't really explain it.
The computer shit was happening.
I make computers work.
Yes.
But why? Why you make computers work, Dad? I don't know, kid.
I can't wait for my kid to ask me shit like that.
Just turn up the music on. I'm like, just listen to the song, man. God damn it.
You get shot at, call me, I'll do the shooting. Come on. I believed him. I thought for sure.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Don't take this away from me.
I'm never gonna.
So
Cam's that guy.
What's the
he has the most songs with his name in the beat.
Killer. Hella opera beats.
Facts.
Man, when I went to see Billy Joel at Madison Square Garden, and there was like a couple songs that were samples from Dipset songs, and I was having the fucking sample play in my head. And I went home and I typed in Diplomat's Billy Joel sample. I didn't even have to remember the names of the songs.
Right.
It's right there.
Right there. Boom. Crazy.
Thank God for YouTube.
Yeah. now it's thank God for YouTube.
Yeah.
The plantation.
You thanking YouTube? You very thankful for this?
I'm very thankful for YouTube.
This is my last question. What was your perspective on the media game when you were watching Taxstone come up back in the day? I know you probably just were a fan watching. What do you think of that rise?
Motherfucker.
What?
you went there with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really,
It's kind of crazy in retrospect.
I was in it. All right, let me give you some stuff that people might not know.
Right.
Troy Ave is from my hood.
Ah.
But he's like the generation after me.
Okay.
Or rather, I was hanging with the generation before his.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And we used to do some wild stuff back in the days, right?
I'm sure.
And there was an occasion when we was in East New York. Yeah, and and there was some guys they were really upset at us being flamboyant, and firecrackers. So when he started dissing me, and I started doing my homework, I thought he was one of those guys.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, okay, well now he got a podcast now. He remembers, and he's, now this is my revenge, because I didn't know why he was dissing me.
Right.
I was like, does he think I run with Troy? Because Troy's from, I don't know. I didn't know why he was doing that. But the sad thing about Tax is, had he not done that, I would have been a fan of him.
Oh yeah.
But he just decided to pick beefs with people that's from not necessarily the area he's from, but like, we're from Brooklyn.
Right.
Why you starting with people from Brooklyn? He went on Vlad, he talked a whole bunch of shit about me. And my only response was, yo, you look like the type of dude that you're gonna put your people in a line of fire. So if you're not that guy, you know such and such, they know me, contact them, and if you really got an issue, we can handle it.
Right.
If not saying another word.
Right.
So he did the whole posting his location, and all that stuff and I was tempted. I was like, I could just be like half a block away and just scare everybody. You know what I'm saying? But
right.
I was like, nah, this is dumb.
Yeah.
Not doing this. Everybody saw this shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Anything happen with somebody fall on a nail, oh shit. Yeah, Math Hoffa, yeah, we need you to come down to the station. Like, stupid shit. I said, nah, this is stupid. The night that shit happened with him and Troy Ave, I got a call from 5 Mics. Shout out to 5 Mics.
Shout out 5 Mics. Keeps coming up on my podcast.
He was running with T.I. at the time.
Right.
And if everybody remembers, it was a T.I. show. He was telling me to come out. I was writing some battle shit last minute, and I couldn't. I was like, nah, bro, I gotta lock in, or this is gonna be an embarrassing situation. I gotta finish this shit. I get with you another time.
Right.
So I would have been there that night.
Wow.
And I would have ran into this guy who was on Vlad calling me pussy and all types of shit the same night.
Wow.
Troy Ave went through. And he took, rest in peace, Banger, who's one of the coolest guys.
Really?
A supporter. You know what I'm saying? And the whack part about it is, even though I didn't go, my baby mom was pregnant at the time. And later on that night, I walk into the other room and she's crying. And I'm, focused on my rhymes. What happened? She's like, yo, they killed Banger. I was like, damn. She was like, yo, we need to go to the hospital right now.
Y'all were like that with him?
Yeah, her best friend is his girlfriend.
Okay.
And actually the godmother of my daughter.
Wow. So,
drove out there. I spoke to Mano about it on the show. I was like, yo, I was out there that night, and I saw you sitting by yourself, and I was like, something going through his mind, I'm going to just leave him alone. I said what's up to all the other people that was out there. And Later on, you know, of course, I got the story. You figure out the details, and then it comes out to the public.
Right.
And I'm like, wow. This guy who had an incredible voice, but felt like it was necessary to go at people where he was from, which put him in a position where he felt like he had to carry something to protect himself from the shit that he was instigating.
Yeah.
Look how that played out.
And meanwhile, like 7 years later, here we are, 6 years later, whatever, this whole podcast game has been unfolding. Millions of dollars.
Millions.
People making.
And he would have been right.
He would have been at the forefront.
Fucking top. But is
and
that,
he hasn't gone
is that
on
a
trial.
good thing?
He hasn't gone to trial yet.
Right. But here's the thing. Is that a good thing? Because I think people would have gotten the wrong impression of how you're supposed to podcast.
It's definitely a cautionary tale, you could say.
That's why I tell you, if I got an issue with somebody, I'm not even going to talk about them.
I mean, Tax was basically like a drill podcaster because he was basically doing all the shit that we're used to drill rappers doing. Which was really being like that, taking shots at whoever the fuck he didn't like, and then really actually not being scared of what was coming to him. Like he moved around like he was ready to do it.
I can't agree with that. I can't agree with that.
Well, I mean, maybe you know stuff, but the way he rolled to that show and the way he got down to me is like, oh, you were really going to do that.
It's going on the run is a reflection of fear also.
Well, but I mean,
you dig what I'm saying?
Yeah, but
right?
If you're wanted, don't you just kind of get out of town, right?
Being in a position where, like, I can imagine myself being in a club with a gun.
Right.
Now. Back in the days, yeah, that was the always strap when we hit the club.
Right.
But now, when I can afford security, why would I do that? Why would I be the guy?
But let's be real, Tax was probably like just getting to the point in his career where he could have maybe afforded to have security. Probably didn't even cross his mind, realistically, because it was like he had just blown up. He was only hot for what, like a year? Maybe 2 years if you were listening to him from the very beginning.
Right. And he had a lot of people behind him.
Yeah.
But
real money.
But look how it played out.
But okay, if I and I did not know most of that actual history between you guys.
Yeah, it's cool.
But I'm just saying, if I had asked you at that time what you thought of podcasts and what you thought of that career path, what would you have said?
I would have thought it was a bunch of people just talking shit.
Yeah.
And there was nothing real about that because, you know, my impression of him was that he was somebody I was never going to run into by himself. You know what I mean? What? It is what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
But, okay, let me ask you this. Final question.
You're in New York, man. You're not worried?
About what?
You know, people getting revenge.
For what?
for all the East Coast rappers that have been, bad things been happening.
I'm from New Hampshire. So if I get smoked for what a bunch of LA gang members did to some East Coast rappers, hey.
That's crazy.
You got me. All right, this is my question. Doing all this content, I know it's not just a hustle to you. I know that this shit means something to you.
Right.
What's an episode or a moment that really made you feel something? That made you really be like, this is what I'm in it for. These are the kind of moments I want to capture on camera. This is a moment where I really felt something deep in my bones.
I don't know. Do people cry on your podcast?
It's happened a little bit, yeah. I got a little teary-eyed, too. All you got to do is start talking about kids, and I get a little teary-eyed.
Oh, it's the kids' conversation.
Well, like, if somebody starts talking about, like, dying and, like, what their kids might be like, what their kid's life is going to be like if they die or whatever.
They just take you to the bad.
Like, bro, I can't handle this. You can't make me think about that right now.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah.
I had a dude named Bruce Franks, St. Louis Superman. He's also a battle rapper.
Okay.
Named Oops. His episode, when he confessed it, he had attempted suicide a couple times. And then to see everything he did after, because, you know, he won awards for that documentary about him being an activist in St. Louis and all that stuff.
Okay.
That moment, another battle rapper named Bill Collector, this is when I realized I could see certain things. And that might be from being in a certain lifestyle where you have to be able to read people. And if you don't, it could be really, really dangerous, right? Like people have spent a lengthful times in jail. Sometimes they have that, or people who just, you know, lived a different type of life, right? Because you gotta read everything. Like, fuck what you're saying. I gotta read your eyes, your eyebrows, your hands, your feet, your stance, all that. I gotta pay attention to every single detail to see what you're actually saying.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I just read that he was trying to kind of railroad the conversation because he was protecting something. And his daughter had, you might cry, his daughter had passed away.
Oof.
And he never really spoke of it the way that he got to speak of it on our show.
Wow, really?
And once you know, that kind of opened up and the conversation got so much better after, once that was just lifted, that's when I felt like, yeah, I'm doing something important.
Damn. No, that's some real shit right there. Yeah.
Well, and since then we have moments like that. Mano opening up about being in the hole and his worst fear was just being a jail nigga.
Right.
You know, he teared up. I kind of teared up a little bit, like, you know.
Because somebody like that talking about his daughter and shit, I mean, I don't know him, but he might be the kind of person that, you know, a lot of our dads were like this, where they didn't really talk about their emotions like that, you know?
Right.
And then all of a sudden the podcast is a forum where he actually feels like, oh, it's appropriate for me to open up like that. Maybe he had avoided doing that to the women in his life, to his family members, et cetera. Like, when you sort of realize, like, oh, he has chosen to use my platform to get this off, like, that can be a fucking crazy moment of just feeling that sense of mutual respect that you chose to share this with me.
But it was more of like, I saw it. Like sometimes I see things that the rest of the cast, they might not peep.
Right.
And I just start chipping at it. Like, yo, there's something there. And I'll just chip, and then people will open up. And I'll be like, oh, wow, yeah, something was there. He needed to get this off his chest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it is like it's different. You know, the hug at the end of the show is, it's like, thank you, bro.
Right.
Thank you.
Because why else would you ever have that kind of connection with somebody, even your closest friends? You might have that experience somewhat rarely.
Right.
But to have that with somebody who is not your closest associate and to actually share that with him, to turn into a fucking therapist basically for an hour and a half on this, the untrained therapist that you're sort of facilitating this kind of conversation, that's when you really start thinking about the power of this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's kind of why I would never do what Akademiks does. Talking shit about people and calling them dusty. Right. I mean, I get it. Ak is good for that. I don't think anybody, if he worded that respectfully, it would not start the conversation. And I feel like the conversation that he started is going to lead to certain things changing. So it's necessary.
Yeah.
We're all necessary.
But even though he's taking all this shit right now, as soon as I saw it happening, I'm like, I already know he's going to be able to turn this into a positive. And now look at him. He's on the Breakfast Club. To him, it's like, how many podcast episodes is he going to do with
it depends on what they talk about,
Jay or Uncle Rush, et cetera, to just be able to make content out of it. Me and you, like the way I look at it, I'm running this whole business. I got all these people working for me. I got all this shit going on. I'm trying to crank out all these interviews. If I'm going through hell, broiled in controversy on Twitter, this is not good for my mental health. It's not good for me running this business. He fucking actually does embrace it and just uses it as fuel for content, and it actually does work for him.
Yeah.
Myself, I try to avoid these types of things.
Yeah. Why?
Because I just don't. My quality of life is very important to me, and if I have 50,000 people screaming at me on Twitter, I can't lie. Like, that is just going to have a negative impact on my mental health waking up that day. And I have my fucking calendar is like weeks and weeks of just shit locked in that I'm grinding through doing content and stuff. And I don't know. To me, it just doesn't seem worth it. But, I mean, it's not like he really went out of his way to offend anybody in that moment.
Right.
He just
But
did it.
now it's kind of rolling. He definitely threw some spice on his responses.
Yeah.
Definitely threw some spice.
Yeah, because he starts bringing up everybody's accusations and shit right away.
Like, and I mean, for you and me, we're probably sitting there like, we know what you're doing, bro.
Yeah.
We know what you're doing. No one saw that one.
But the thing is that he knows what he's doing there. Because he knows that that's going to make them think twice about fucking with him, because if he wants to be posting some shit about T.I. every fucking day on his Instagram page, T.I. going to feel it.
Yeah.
And it's not going to make his life as fun as it could be. So he might just decide to...
Ak doesn't care. He'll stay in his crib.
Yeah. But Ak also, like, you know, he's not dying to destroy T.I.
Yeah.
But if T.I. went on the warpath against him, you know in his head he's going to be like, here we go. Here's my next 2 months of content. We want a war.
But I don't think that's, like, you don't want to turn people that's respected against you. That's when you're at a line in Pathmark, but buying almond milk, and somebody just punches you in the face because they're a fan.
I don't think Ak's buying almond milk by himself.
You know what I mean?
I think he's past that. But think about it. He beefed with Meek Mill. He beefed with Nicki Minaj. It didn't have any kind of negative impact on his career.
I mean,
and these are people who are supposed to have people who you're supposed to be scared
with Meek.
of.
I mean, you know, it's not really.
He beefed with Rory Mall. They left a letter in his mailbox.
They left a letter in his mailbox?
That was true.
Crib. That was true?
Yeah, they left a birthday card or some shit.
What did it say?
Basically some shit that Ak took as, I'm going to fucking kill you or something. So then he wilded out on him. It said some shit, but it was like...
That was Rory.
It was kind of like, yeah.
That was right. I can't, that was...
It was some shit that was basically like, hey...
I can't see Mal really doing that. That had to be like a Rory thing.
Mom might have drove him there. I don't know.
He might have drove him there and be like, a birthday card, dog? Like, we really going to do that?
Looking around.
No, I'm a serial killer shit. Like, he's going to get the message.
Oh, boy. All right. Matt,
crazy.
I appreciate you, man.
I appreciate you.
Much
too,
love.
bro.
Everybody go subscribe to the motherfucking podcast.
You heard? And if you're watching this because you follow me, subscribe to No Jumper.
On God.
Right. Oh, one thing I want to ask you.
Yeah.
Why multiple channels?
Well, we just decided to go with the Clips channel because we're already pumping out so much content on the main channel that I was like, I got to build one up sooner or later. And I think we're at like 450,000 subscribers. So I should have done it years ago, but I feel like it gives me a little bit more flexibility because, you know, you see Vlad said he wants to drop 100 clips a day on his channel.
Yeah. And YouTube doesn't like that.
They don't.
They don't. YouTube, we need to like sit down collectively and be like, yo, YouTube,
For me, it's like the idea of having the main channel be more selective and then having a Clips channel that can post 50 times a day. That sounds great.
Right.
I don't want everybody to feel like they're signing up to see 50 things in their subscription box every day. But hey, we'll see.
We'll see.
My man, Math Hoffa, appreciate you, dog. No Jumper. Coolest podcast in the world. Check us out on YouTube, TikTok, Patreon, Instagram, etc. Like, comment, and subscribe. Necro is walking in here. He clearly doesn't realize that we're still doing the podcast.
Another joint. Peace, what up?
Fuck it.
Peace, what's good? What's good? Yeah, it's me. It's me. It's me.
Peace, brother.
What's going on? Peace, what's good?